Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. This was a good episode. This was a good episode. This is one of those things where it's like, geez, what are you doing? You got Days just killing it, and you guys just like, all right, we'll get there eventually. We'll get back to the place. I just every time I watch this show, I'm happy and I'm also sad as a GH fan. I mean, I know episodes go up and down and stuff like that, and there's going to be certain times where one show is better than the other. But when it's so consistent, it just makes you think like the GH just get lazy, they just get arrogant. Anyway, Orpheus decides to act like the Riddler. Now, granted, he's probably been doing this for a while, and it's just the first time that I've seen it. But the minute he started giving John, Rome, and Steve clues to how to sit there and save their wives and girlfriend or whatever, I'm just like, you sure you don't want to wear like a green getup or anything like that? Little eye monocle, nothing? Hey, bro. When I say eye monocle, I'm talking about like the really early 1970s Riddler from the Batman show. But yeah. So he starts giving them these clues, and um, he starts solving it one by one. But time is running out. And by the time they get to the second clue, by the time that they're done, they're at less than half an hour. While that's going on, you got Kate, Marlena, and Kayla, tied up and everything. And even though they're tied up and they can all get killed at any moment, Marlena is still giving Kate the smoke. Okay, and Kate's like, listen, I took responsibility. You know, I turned myself in. I paid. I'm gonna have to pay a fine or whatever. She paid like this hefty fine, and she got community service and everything like that. And I think Kayla was like, yeah, that seems like it's kind of a slap on the wrist, which it is. But the point is that she took responsibility. Now it's up to the courts and stuff like that to decide on what to do with her. But she did her part. And they go back and forth. And eventually Marlena's like, you know what, listen. I guess she kind of realized at any moment we're going to die. Um, there's a bomb that's in a panel of the wall, the electric circuits, whatever, the panel, whatever. Between that and the fact that Roman forgave her, she was like, "Yeah, all right, fine, I'll forgive you." That made sense. Made sense, you know. But like, I mean, granted, yeah, Roman did forgive her, but I'm also just like, yeah, I could die at any moment. You really want to sit there and be holding on? You want to be holding on to that grudge right before the end? But anyway, they solve, I guess, like the last clue or whatever. Um, they get down there and start shooting and everything like that. And they get into the room, and Steve is like, which wire should I cut or whatever. So you know, Orpheus called Caleb Blue Eyes. So they tried the blue wire, they tried the black wire, and then they tried the white wire. The white wire was, the one that stopped the bomb. But it was literally 1 second. So when I sit there and said that they cut it close, they really cut it close. Now my whole thing was, I'm just like, yo, why don't you just pick these women up and carry them out there and just, whatever. Why are we sitting there trying to disarm it? We have like 40 something seconds. I'm pretty sure that's more than enough time to get out the building. I don't care, ladies, you guys sit there and take off your shoes and run barefoot. But for some odd reason, he decides to start cutting some wires, and we all just sat. They all just sat there and just waited. And I'm like, I mean, I'm pretty sure there might have been more than one explosion, or one explosion would have been enough to collapse the building. Who knows? But I don't know. That's just the way I looked at it. Anyway, he was able to stop the bomb, but Orpheus is sitting there looking, at the monitor. He's like, yeah. And he said something along the lines of, well, the game has just begun. So, who's going to be next on the chopping block? Now, I don't know if somebody's going to be killed off. Could happen. It very well could happen. But it's hard to believe that somebody's going to get killed off from Orpheus. Simply because there's so many characters that wound up leaving, in the past couple of months. You have Sierra, Lonnie, Eli, Trip, Abby. And even though so far, and I'm pretty sure I've missed some, but even though that's like 5 people so far, that's a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot of people for a show. Just be going like that. Um. So Stephanie is just kind of hanging out. She gets a text from Alex. He's like, yeah, whatever. She decides to go to. She decides to look up on a computer on a laptop. Where's a good place to go get a Cosmo? Now Leo's there. And Leo's found guilty for flipping on Gwen and saying that Gwen did it. Anyway, Stephanie and Leo meet up to get to talking. He calls himself Matty. I guess that's his actual name, Matthew. So they're chopping it up, having a good time. Stephanie's to talk about her last acts and everything. And Alex comes in there. And Leo, I guess, went to go get some drinks. So he comes back, and Alex turns around, and he's like, you look familiar. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm Matty, whatever. And I was like, no, 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 no. There's Leo. Now, up until that point, Stephanie was having a really great time talking to Leo and everything like that. But, when Alex told, when Alex was sitting there telling Stephanie of all the things he's done as far as being a suspect for Abby's murder, all the stuff that, Alex did to Stephanie, to Sunny, she was like, I was sitting there hanging out and chumming it up with you? Like, after what you did to my family? So she wasn't happy about that. Alex wanted to rip him in two. Where Stephanie was like, more or less, she was like, it's not worth it. So she's like, just let him go. He's not worth your life. So Leo leaves, he runs off, and, Alex, Stephanie gives him a compliment as far as, standing up for Sunny. So they get to talking and just kind of hanging out. Stephanie was meant to talk about how she was a race car driver at one point. So that was interesting. Alex, I don't know. I feel like he's just. It's not that he's trying too hard, but like he's trying so hard to get her in bed. Because that's just always been his MO. And he starts talking about jacuzzis and champagne and everything like that. And she's like, you know what? Listen, we're having a great time. Let's not ruin it. And after a while, she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna head on out. And she says that he's handsome, but she's not really down for like one night stands and stuff like that. So she leaves, and the only thing that he took away from that whole thing was she called me handsome. Okay. Now I gotta sit there and ask. We've seen Alex for a while. For a good while. And I want to know everyone's opinion on Alex. Do you like him? Do you think he's a good character? Do you think he's obnoxious? Um, like I said, sometimes when I'm at work, I want to, when you're meeting one of my customers that watches Days. And she's not a fan of Alex. She finds him very much irritating and just obnoxious in general. I like Alex. Sometimes I feel like the cons like with Stephanie. It's like here's the thing. Eventually, they're gonna wind up hooking up. They're gonna wind up being together. So it's not like his efforts is gonna be totally in vain. But it's a very obnoxious process to sit there and watch. You know, there's a fine line between courtship and going after what you want, as opposed to being somewhat kind of a sleazeball and just like not really understanding the words of no and just kind of calm down, harassment, stuff like that. It's very I want to sit there and say it's very Pepe Le Pew, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Now at some point, well, okay. Now I kind of got to rewind back a little bit because I didn't really talk about the Sonny and Alex part, which was pretty much, Alex was sitting there saying that, he was sitting there texting Stephanie, and Sonny was like, yo, are you serious? Like, you do realize that we have a no dating policy. And Alex was like, wait, you were serious about that? I'm like, bro, what? You're at work. I mean, maybe back in Arizona because he was, it was a family company. He kind of like ran and stuff like that. So he just did whatever he wanted. But I'm like, bro, there are rules, there are laws. There's mandatory videos that if you work any place, that you have to watch those videos no matter how annoying, how obnoxious, how cringy those videos are. We all gotta watch them. So when he said, "Oh, what? You serious?" It was like, bro, what is wrong with you? So he tries to put his foot down again, like, yo, listen, you can't be doing that, you can't be harassing people and stuff like that. Um, and a little bit after that, he winds up leaving, and he goes down to the bar to text Chanel and Allie. No, he calls Chanel. He calls Allie, but then realized that Stephanie's there, so he's like, yeah, whatever. Wish me good luck or whatever. Now at that time, one second. Um, so yeah, at some point, Leo does come down. Does go to Sunny because he wants to sit there and get Alex to back off. Since Alex is pretty much about to break him in two. So and he starts off by apologizing. He's like, listen, because Sonny's like, yo, like, what do you want? And he apologizes for, um, the whole making it look like they slept together and stuff like that. Wants to then try to be friends. And, he said to Sonny that he realized after Abigail's death that, revenge just wasn't really worth it. So he's like, listen, at the very least, could you get Alex to back off? He's like, fine. Walks off and he's all like, you're my favorite ex. No, he was like, you're my favorite ex-husband. So he walks off and he comes back and he sees Leo's list. Well, I mean, he sees his own list that he wrote, of people he was going to get back at. He also sees blood on it too. And he looks a little bit over to his right or whatever, and he sees Sonny on the ground with a knife in his back. Now I'm just like, in my imagination, they just kill off Sonny. And it's weird. I don't think they killed him off, but I'm like, there's a good chance because this dude was literally not moving with a knife in his back. I mean, I'm going to be honest. It'd be kind of crazy if they kill off Sonny, but they've been like I said, this would be the sixth person, if give or take. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't know how many. I don't remember. I would actually have to sit there and literally look and see how many people um isn't on the show anymore. And so far, I'm counting down if Sonny leaves or he gets killed off, whatever. Six. Now, before I go, um, so on YouTube, they got their official, Days of Our Lives channel, and it was. Let me check. Wow, that's really interesting. So while I was looking for the last message that I saw, this was the actor, the actor that plays Rafe and the actress that plays Nicole. They were talking about, joining Peacock, September 12th, and what they're doing. And this is something that actually annoyed me. Okay. And I get it. I understand what they're doing, So, as of right now, I think the special is still going on. And I'm not too sure how it works, but you pay $1.99 and you can watch it or whatever. It's normally $4.99 for the Peacock premium. I think you pay a little bit extra for no commercials, but the basic one is $4.99. They were talking about it was $1.99. You know what? Let me just double check. So yeah, $2 a month for the whole year, as opposed to $4.99. So I get it. They're trying to get as much people to join as possible. And I guess that kind of irked me a little bit because it was like, bro, I paid the $5. Now you're sitting there telling me if I waited a little bit longer, I would have paid like $2 for the same. Okay, whatever. I know it's a couple of dollars, but I'm just like, really? I don't know. It's sort of that same thing where it's like you've been a cable subscriber for a while, but in the order to like get new people, they'll give them like some sort of crazy special deal for like a year or 2 years or whatever, and you're just like, bro, I've been with y'all for like years. Are you kidding me? But whatever. So yeah, it's $2 a month for the whole year. I don't know how long it's gonna last. So if you're thinking about joining, now is the time to join. But also, while I was looking that up, I saw a message from the actor that plays Abe. And just to shorten it, I mean, granted, it wasn't really that long anyway, but he was just talking about how it's the wave of the future. Soap opera started off on radio, then they moved to television. And, it wasn't an easy transition at first because a lot of people didn't have televisions, but eventually people caught up. And this is just another transition. It's really interesting. We're already promos before, okay? And let's just sit there and think about how this whole thing dropped a month away, like literally within a month. I think it was like the first I think August 1st or something like that. They told people, by the way, September is going to be switching to Peacock. So yeah, bye. And it just seemed like it was just so short, so rushed. Like either they don't want to sit there and give people time to think about it, or this is just a very last minute decision and just had to tell people. I don't know. Something about the whole thing, the way they dropped it was just off. Okay? And then it was kind of radio silence for a while. It was just news broadcasters telling people about the change. And now, towards the beginning of everything moving to Peacock, now you get all these actors and actresses or whatever um, talking about the move and the jump. And first you had Deja Hall, Then you had the actor that plays Rafe and Nicole, and now you got Abe. I'm just like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I feel like they should have probably been doing that, a couple weeks before. But it is what it is. Let me just double check my notes because I want to make sure I didn't forget anything. Oh, I did. I totally forgot something. That is the Chad and Gwen scene, and pretty much all that scene was Gwen trying to convince Chad that she didn't do it. She tells Chad her story about how, she got caught by Abigail because she wants to sit there and frame Sarah. So this way she can go into, I was going to sit there and say Shady Brook, but whatever, they send crazy people. And this way she can have a shot at getting Xander back. But she was like, it didn't work, and Abigail pretty much gave her mercy and um, told her about Leo, and, he was staying there, and he had a hit list and all this other stuff like that. I feel like at this point, Chad might believe her. I mean, Gwen has done some terrible things, but murder isn't one of those. Even with Laura, it's more plausible that it was an accident than it was on purpose. And she only said that to Abby. She said she only said that to Abby to torture Abby. So I think part of him believes that Gwen didn't do it. But then it's just like, well, Leo, Leo is a terrible person. Okay, he's not a good person. Okay, maybe he's not a terrible person. He did sex. He did try to sue Sonny for harassment. That is actually pretty terrible. But he's not a killer, you know. And at this point, I don't even know. I mean, Chad said that even if they find the killer, it's not going to bring Abby back. So what closure is it supposed to sit there and get? That's why I guess for me, I don't really understand why people would sit there and say, "Oh, the faster they can sit there and catch the killer, you know, the faster the victims can get closure." And it's like, what closure? What closure? Okay, they're in jail, they're behind jail. That's not gonna make them magically feel better. That's not gonna bring back whoever that person killed. So, so I never really understood the whole, "Oh, you can give the victims closure." Really, really, because like knowing that that person did it is gonna do what? I don't know. I guess that, in some ways that's the same thing as when people sit there and say, "Oh, I send my condolences," and it's just like, what does that mean? What am I supposed to do with that? That currency? Like, what does that do for me? But all in all, I gotta sit there and say that this was a good episode. This was a good episode. I feel like that's about it. Really do feel like that's about it. At least the most pertinent information, like I say in all my other reviews. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I know I was meant to try and do a live today. It just was not. I don't know. It's so difficult. I don't know. It's like I tried to wake up one time and I did, and I started. I don't know, going through emails and comments and stuff like that, and I don't know. In some ways, I felt like I probably could have got up and did my live, but then I had to sit there and account for charging back up the the laptop, and I don't know. It's in some ways I feel like it's kind of difficult to sit there and do a live and then do like reviews right after, as opposed to Sundays, which I don't really have anything going on, or Saturdays, and I can sit there and do a live. I don't really have that much going on Saturday. So I feel like, and I'm pretty sure I might have said that yesterday, that probably Saturday would be a better day to do a live. I don't know. Hell, I wanted to even sit there and try to do one today, but seeing I have to wake up at like, be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning, just don't really see that happening. But I really do enjoy doing my lives. I gotta find some sort of way to try to incorporate it throughout the week, but I just probably shouldn't have said it and just did a post. I think that's what I'm gonna do next time. I'm just not gonna really say it. This way I don't put that much pressure on myself. And if I actually do have the extra time, I can probably put out a post like an hour ahead and see how many people show up. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.